Hey y'all, Wacky Wormer here, and I am playing GregTech New Horizons. This is a mod pack that is based on Minecraft version 1.7.10. It was originally released back in like 2015, I think, somewhere around there. But it's been getting steady updates, not just bug fixes, but actual like content updates too. In fact, just this month, they released some new multi-blocks for like the super end game. And they're just gorgeous. They're awesome. So I wanted to do a playthrough of this. If you don't know, this is like, I don't know what's going on with all the witches here. It's kind of freaky. Anyways, if you don't know, GregTech New Horizons is like, it's an expert pack among expert packs. Like just the length of progression of this pack is insane. We're going to be putting like thousands of hours into this as we progress up through mostly a tech tree, but we do have Thumbcraft, we have Witchery, we have Botania, which I mean, you know, a lot of people consider a tech mod really, but it's mostly a tech focused pack as we work up through these machines that are processing our ores, building materials for us, giving us new and different drops for different processes, and working our way towards the end game of all that. So it's going to be a really fun pack. And I think because of the length of the pack, you kind of have to approach it with a different mindset than you do most other packs. You have to really set intermediate goals for yourself. And we're going to get that off to a good start today by setting a goal this episode of crafting our first bed. Our first bed is going to require us to harvest a decent amount of gravel, a decent amount of wood, and possibly the hardest part of that is going to be finding sheep for the wool that we need. So we're going to get started with that. While we're doing that, I am not interested in hanging out in this snow biome whatsoever. I don't know if it's every snow biome, but dire wolves will spawn in a lot of them at least, and they are aggressive during the daytime. So I'm not interested in hanging out here. I'm also on the subject of kind of finding a spot for our first initial base. I am very interested in finding a base with a very high, see that's probably a direwolf right there, a very high humidity level. If you can look in the top left-hand corner there, it's the fourth line down. There's a zombie somewhere, and that's a direwolf. The fourth line down, 10% humidity. That's not good. That's very low humidity, obviously. And we're going to need something more around like 70, 80%. Anything north of that is really good in terms of generating water. We do not have infinite water in this mod pack. So we really want to find a starting place to put our base at that has a high humidity. So that's what we're going to be looking for as I run around. But along the way, I'm going to be looking to collect any Pam's Harvest Craft Gardens that I come across. This pack has the Spice of Life in it. There's more direwolves over there. You can see why I want to get out of this snow biome. But this pack has the Spice of Life in it. Food is going to be a resource that we're going to spend a pretty decent amount of time managing and making sure that we're getting fresh new foods. Let's not fall into this thing. Fresh new foods that are going to keep us satiated. So I'm going to pick up, not that I've seen any so far, but I'm going to pick up any Pam's Harvest Craft stuff that I see. And hopefully try to work my way out of this snow biome. Here's some sheep. I'm just going to go ahead and punch them. Try not to punch them into a ravine here. So I've gotten my 6 wool. I've also collected a fair amount of Pam's Harvest Craft Gardens. Not a ton yet, but still working on it. This cotton, let's avoid that direwolf. This cotton is going to be very critical in the early game. There's not a good way of breaking down wool into string in the early game. And we're going to be using a lot of string and raw cotton itself, actually. So we want to pick up especially any of those cotton gardens that we see. And I think the actual cotton can spawn in the world too. So that would be a little bit of a shortcut to getting some of that good cotton that we need. So definitely pick up any of that as you're running along and looking for a good starting position for your base. That said 70 Redwood Forest. This might be, if I can find somewhere, is this good enough? That's not a lot of water. Let's see if we can find a pool of water a little bit bigger than that. And if we can, then this is going to be our starting base, I think. So I'm going to run around and look for that, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so just on the other side of that redwood forest, we actually bumped up to 80% humidity, which is just awesome. I imagine, is it going to drop right here? 50%, yeah. So we're close to water, but we want to be a little further off the water back there. So that's really good. We also have one of those greatwood trees that has the spider spawner in it. You can tell by the spider webs right there. We definitely want to look at that eventually, but we don't want to look at it right now because we can't make torches. So we have no way of disabling that spawner, and we don't want to get tangled up in all that. So I'm going to start here by mining some gravel. This is quarried stone. That's interesting. I know we're going to need a lot of gravel. I guess I should really open up the quest book and let's see where we're at with that. So in your quest book, when you first open it up, it's going to look something like this, right? It's going to show you the quest that you are able to do now and what those quests immediately lead to. This little eyeball looking thing here pulls up everything, so you can see everything that you're working towards. And this down here, this bed, is our goal for today. So you can see we're going to be progressing through some flint, crafting table. We're going to get our tools. We're going to get a furnace and a mallet, and then we're going to get our bed. So that's the goal for today. We've already collected our wool here, so we're going to be good to go there. We're going to need a decent amount of gravel. I don't know if there's enough gravel right here to support us. But this first task here is about dirt. So let's just go ahead and pick up some dirt. It's getting dark, and dark means that we're going to dig a little hole and hide in it for the night. We do have hardcore darkness in this mod pack. So not only are the mobs extremely dangerous, we have infernal mobs, so they're just tough, right? But we also have hardcore darkness, which means we won't be able to see anything during the night. So that means that I'm going to dig a little hole and hide in it, and I will see you guys in the morning. Okay, so we just flipped over into daytime, and I haven't heard any mobs or anything. Literally just AFK'd in this little spot all night long. We need to find more gravel. This might be enough, and we'll take a shot at trying to get all the way to the bed on this, but we'll eventually definitely need more gravel than this. But we'll see. Let's open up the quest book. So we've completed our dirt gathering quest. That's not a big deal. Looks like we have completed the gravel and the oakwood collection quest. We do need to turn to Oakwood Inn, and that's going to get us a torch. The torch is going to be incredibly useful because we're probably at least 2 episodes away from being able to craft a torch. It's kind of a big deal, so that's really awesome. We need 3 flint here. Flint in this pack is crafted with 3 gravel, although pretty quickly we're going to have access to a recipe that gets us 1-to-1, which is nice. But you can see all that gravel we collected, and we only got 5 flint out of that, which is not a big number. So we're going to pick up some more here, and then, yeah, well, we might have to find some more. But let's take a look at the quest book. We can get an extra piece of flint as a quest reward from here. Definitely useful. Our first crafting table. It's a pretty simple recipe, just 2 logs and 2 pieces of flint. We've got a decent amount of logs. We might need more of that before we can craft the bed. We'll see. Let's just put that down right here. And then next, I believe, are the flint tools, right? Actually, I skipped over this quest. It's really just an informational quest. It explains to you that the quests with the jagged edges here are the ones that are actually the progression path, whereas these ones that are just plain squares, these are just kind of side quest, I guess you could call them. So we need to craft our flint tools. We need a lot more flint than we have now. Actually 6. I think we need something on the order of like 9 maybe to craft all the tools. So I'm just going to replace this because I don't like, the look of water flowing in. It's pretty ugly. Especially here without infinite water, there's no way to fill the spots back in until you have a way of generating water. So that kind of sucks. So we're going to pick up this gravel. And 13, that's not much more, but I do think that's enough to get us the tools that we need. So let's see, let's go ahead and craft up like maybe 10 planks and then 10 sticks from that. You can see the reduced wood yield recipe on that, right? So that's just a taste of what GregTech has to offer, I think. So that's our pickaxe, hoe, shovel. We need an axe, and then we're going to need one more flint to create the sword, which means at least 2 more gravel. But there's some, it's all in the water. I don't love digging that out of the water, but there's some over there. Let's run over there real quick and dig up that gravel. All right, we've got just enough gravel to make the flint we need for the sword. We'll go ahead and grab this right here as we pass it by. It's good to know that there's a little bit extra there for us to use. And then I need to actually craft the flint. I just need 1 piece right now, actually. And then there's our sword. So, as you know, I went ahead and collected the wool from the sheep before I crafted the sword, obviously. But the flint swords actually come with fire aspect 1, which means that the drops from all your animals are the cooked versions of their meats, and that's really useful for the whole spice of life thing. All right, let's take a look at our quest book here. We need 6 wool, which we should have. Let's do a submission. Oh, there we go. It just needed to hit our inventory again. And then now we need to work through this part of the quest book, which actually I'm going to kind of sidestep this just for the sake of time. This requires 64 cobblestone, and then we make a furnace. But this furnace is not actually used for creating this wood mallet or the soft mallet or the bed. I think it's just, trying to make sure you have your basic essentials there ready to go. So I'm just going to skip straight over to making the mallet. The mallet recipe is nice and easy. This is a recipe that you're going to be very familiar with because you're going to be crafting a lot of hammers, whether it's mallets out of wood or whether it's iron or steel hammers or something like that. You're going to be crafting hammers for quite a while. So that gets us our mallet. I'm going to go ahead and convert all of that into planks. And then if we take a look at the bed recipe, we've got the wool that we need for the carpet, 3 planks, not a big deal, our soft mallet, and then these fences. This is quite an expensive recipe. You can see this is 1-to-1, so not great. So that means we're going to need, 12 sticks, which means we need 12 planks. And there's our 12 planks. And then we're going to need 6. So I'm going to be 1 plank short, I think, actually. I am. Let's go ahead and grab... Yeah, here we go. We're going to go ahead and grab this piece of wood, and we're going to be able to craft the bed as soon as we turn this into planks. So that was... we need to do our wool first, right? So we craft our wool into carpet. Lay our carpet up, lay our planks up, fence, and then our soft mallet lets us build a bed. And there we are. So we've got our bed now. Don't forget to pick up your mallet because obviously the crafting table doesn't hold on to things. But we've got our bed now. This is a great critical milestone really for the first episode here. It's going to let us pass through the nights without issue, really by virtue of skipping them over, which is not something to underestimate. Like I said, we've got infernal mobs and hardcore darkness, so nights are not enjoyable at all. And yeah, so next episode, we're going to be digging back down into the quest book. We'll finish this up right here just to kind of enable the quest book progression and unlock the things that it's going to unlock. Namely, that's going to be the Stone Age here. And we're going to be really heavily focused on this top right corner here. And I hope that we can get down to the Tinker's workstations. I don't know that we can get that far. It's a very paper-hungry recipe, but I think we might can. So hopefully next episode we'll get down here to the Tinker's tables and be able to craft our first real tools. And we'll talk more about GregTech tools when we hit that episode. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys next episode.